Okay, for today's discussion, we will be talking about how toys are sold in Manila, how they get from the supply chain onto the toy shelves, particularly Hasbro products. Okay, now this video, as a disclaimer, is not intended to put shade on anybody or on any part of the supply chain. It's not meant to criticize what's been going on here in Manila. It is merely a statement of fact, just an objective discussion of how things work here in Manila, and hopefully this video will help a lot of people who are hunting for toys in Manila, who go through the normal retail channels of buying and purchasing your collectibles, action figures, your toys, and whatnot. And it might shed some light on certain things that happen here in Manila that are quite different from what's happening from the rest of the world. So let's begin. Okay, so Hasbro products, Transformers, Marvel Legends, Star Wars The Black Series, and G.I.Joe Classified Series, Power Rangers, you name it, Ghostbusters. So all these Hasbro products, you can buy them if you're a casual collector, a casual shopper. The best way to buy them, easiest way, not the best way, but the easiest way to get them is through brick and mortar stores, Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom. Sorry, I don't have an actual mock-up for Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom, so these two will have to do. So let's pretend these two are Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom. So brick and mortar stores. And the way the toy industry works here in Manila, or at least in the Philippines, is it's unlike the ones in the US or in Europe, where the toy stores actually purchase their stocks. They make a deal with, let's say, Mattel, Hasbro, or McFarlane, and they procure stocks through terms and all that, and they procure them directly from the head offices, regional offices of these toy companies. That doesn't happen here in Manila. What happens here is there is a official or licensed importer of certain toy brands. Now, for Mattel products, we're just gonna call the company R&P. Okay, for McFarlane and Bandai products and all these Gundam products, it's imported by a company called, we're going to use the name B&K. Okay, now for Hasbro products, the official bulk distributor for Hasbro products is a company called, we're gonna name them, we're gonna use the name P&K. Okay, I don't want to use the real names, but P&K is the licensed importer for bulk Hasbro products. Now, that does not mean to say that nobody else can import Hasbro products. You can, but the quantities is what's going to differentiate you from the importer, from the designated distributor. The distributor imports like tons, like thousands of cases from Hasbro, whereas if you want to import Hasbro products, you can do so in very, very small quantities, or big enough quantities but not as big as P&K. Okay, we'll talk more about that later, but suffice to say, Hasbro products are brought in by a company called P&K. They import the products and they put everything on consignment with Toys R Us or Toy Kingdom. Incidentally, 95% of all the items you see inside the stores of Toy Kingdom and Toys R Us, they are all on consignment. So, people are wondering, why doesn't Toys R Us get these exclusives? Why doesn't Toy Kingdom get these exclusives? Well, the fact is, they can't, because they don't want to. Because almost all the products they have are on consignment. The products they have are largely determined by the importers, such as P&K, B&K, and the Mattel importer, R&P. So they're the ones who decide what to put on the shelves. In communication, with consultation with Toy Kingdom and Toys R Us, of course. The Toy Kingdom will want, we want action figures, we want Legos, we want display sets or play sets, stuff like that. But largely the decision on what items are on the shelves are determined by the importers. So, okay. Oh, let me just make a segue just a little bit. People are wondering why Toys R Us is still alive here in Asia. Well, Toys R Us is alive and well in Asia, mainly because the Toys R Us stores here in Asia, also here in Manila, the Toys R Us stores are owned by the Robinsons Group. So if you've heard of the Robinsons malls, the Robinsons land developers, they're the ones who own Toys R Us, whereas Toy Kingdom is owned by the SM group of companies. Now, Toys R Us stores here in Manila are independent stores. As well as the rest of Asia, all Toys R Us stores are independently run stores, toy stores, that have literally zero connection to the US stores. What they did was they paid royalties just so they can use the brand Toys R Us. That is the only connection they have to the US stores, just the name. But all operations, financials, and all that are strictly independent from whatever goes on in the US. They have full control of what goes on in their shelves and their finances and whatnot, as long as they don't violate anything to disrupt the brand Toys R Us. So that's the simple explanation, the simplest explanation I can give you why Toys R Us is still alive in Asia. Anyway, so they bring it in and they put it on consignment on Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom. So that's all well and good. But the problem is, well, first off, they decide the price. They determine the price based on US dollar to peso exchange rates, custom and duties, customs fees, importation fees, taxes, and all that. And there's no adherence to international prices. So let's say Marvel Legends in the US are going for $20, $25, maybe $30, $32. Here in Manila, Marvel Legends are up to $40, $43. Same with the Black Series. Transformers, like leader class figures, are already at, $84. So they decide the price. That's one. Second, they don't get everything. P&K does not bring every single Hasbro product there is. You're probably thinking that's not such a bad thing, right? They don't have to bring in every My Little Pony set and all that. Yeah, sure. But in terms of Hasbro products, they skip waves. For instance, the Black Series. They skip a ton of waves for the Black Series. They didn't bring in waves such as the wave of Asajj Ventress. They skipped a lot of exclusives, store exclusives, Target exclusive, Walgreens exclusive, Walmart exclusives. These are all determined. These are all brought in mainly by an importer. Toys R Us, Toy King does not decide that, since we don't have Target stores, we don't have Walmart stores and all that. So they skip waves. Every month, you don't know what they're going to bring in and what they're not going to bring in, which sucks. Target exclusives, Walmart exclusives, those are iffy. They bring in 20% of exclusives. So it's kind of difficult to bank on them if you just want to shop purely on retail. Another clear example is G.I.Joe classified series. They did bring in this wave together with the first few waves of classified series, but after that they stopped bringing in classified series. They don't have the new waves. They don't have the Alley Vipers, the Cobra Bat. They don't have Flint and Lady J. They don't even have the Walmart exclusive figures. Nothing. Studio Series. Last year, they brought in Studio Series 86 and a bunch of Studio Series figures, but for 2022, P&K has not imported a single Studio Series wave of figures. No Studio Series 86 figures, no Studio Series Bayverse or Nightverse figures have been imported by P&K. If you're a collector for those lines, figures and collectibles that P&K has not brought in, your best course of action is just to go through hobby shops. Now, this I'm sorry, I don't have a better mock-up, but this will be our hobby shops. This will be Green Hills and his hobby shops. Okay, now the hobby shops, they have the option to go through P&K and get stocks, but the fact is they don't put out all the stocks, they don't put out all the waves, and their prices are so high. So hobby shops, here's the second part of the discussion, they import their products directly from suppliers from Hong Kong, from China, from Taiwan, Australia, from Singapore, and some hobby shops even go straight to other international hobby shops or US hobby shops such as Entertainment Earth or Dorkside Toys or Big Bad Toy Store. They import directly from these resellers, and that's what they put on their shelves. Now, there is one particular hobby shop. We're gonna call it GNT&O. GNT&O. They have bulk importation on a lot of Hasbro products, particularly Marvel Legends, Transformers, G.I.Joe, some Ghostbusters and all that. But the volume isn't as big, or does not surpass, or doesn't even come close to the volume that P&K has. So they're kind of flying under the radar. They're importing, they have their own hobby shop, but they're sort of a hobby shop that supplies smaller hobby shops that sell these Hasbro products. Okay? So you're probably wondering, like, I went to Green Hills, these several hobby shops had the new wave of Studio Series Transformers figures. How come Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom, why don't they get it? Well, it's not their fault, it's P&K's fault. They decided not to get Studio Series figures this year, and so we're left with only Legacy figures, Cyberverse figures, and so you have to go to hobby shops to get the items that are not imported by P&K. Okay, so I hope that clarifies a lot of issues regarding how Hasbro products, as well as subsequently as Mattel and McFarlane products, are sold here in Manila. My advice is, if you are just a casual collector, sure, you can go to Toys R Us, Toy Kingdom, get your fix, but my biggest advice would probably to check out the hobby shops first. The hobby shops in Green Hills, they're on Facebook. They usually offer pre-orders for their items. And chances are these pre-orders are going to be made through various suppliers from Hong Kong, from Singapore, from Malaysia. And if it's a reputable hobby shop, I suggest you place your pre-order there, because that guarantees you getting the stocks securely, safely, without having to bank on whether P&K is going to put them on the shelves of Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom. If you are trying to put up, if you're someone who's decided to put up a small hobby shop, maybe you want to dabble in selling Hasbro products, you can go through these hobby shops and pre-order items in bulk for them. They'll give you some discount, or you can go straight to GNT&O and maybe they'll give you a deal, especially for low volume, not very low volume, but volume that isn't as big as what these guys are requiring, because they can also supply hobby shops. P&K, they do supply hobby shops, but they require a significant amount of volume compared to what GNT&O requires. Okay, one last thing before we close this video, this discussion. Some of you are probably wondering, those of you who hunt Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom, why is it that sometimes when the delivery comes, like when P&K delivers items or stocks here at Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom, sometimes there are missing stocks? Like when the last Black Series wave of figures were delivered, like the Kenobi wave, like only a few figures were there. Like Reva was there, the Fifth Brother was there, but Kenobi and Darth Vader figures were not there. They were not delivered. And you're wondering, that's part of the case assortment. Why isn't it there? Or maybe the latest Marvel Legends that were delivered at Toy Kingdom or Toys R Us, Toys R Us got a wave of the Infinity Ultron Build-A-Figure wave, and there was only, if I recall, only one Toys R Us store that had all the characters in the wave delivered, and that's their flagship store at Robinson's Galleria. But all the other smaller Toys R Us, when the wave was delivered, it was missing a Kate Bishop. Some of them were missing She-Hulk figures, and you're wondering, why are there incomplete waves delivered in Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom? Okay, here's the thing. Here in Manila and most parts of Asia, it's really not what you know, it's who you know. Now, there are some resellers on Facebook who go directly to P&K. They're probably buddies with the managers and owners of P&K. And what they do is they normally they send out pre-orders for, like, we want Fennec. I got pre-orders for Fennec Shand. I got pre-orders for Cosmos. I got pre-orders for the retro Spider-Man. So P&K says, oh, you got to give me this volume. And they said, sure, but we need these characters. Okay, fine, we'll give you that. So they pick it out from the different cases. So these cases that have been picked out, what do they do with them? They get shipped out to the smaller branches, smaller stores of Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom. That's the reason why some Toy Kingdom and Toys R Us stores, the smaller ones, they get shipments of Transformers or Marvel Legends that have incomplete figures in the case, because they've already been picked out at the warehouse at P&K, and these resellers who order directly from P&K have already gotten those figures. Now you're probably wondering, why doesn't P&K deliver only complete cases to these stores? Sure, if the waves were abundant, they would do it. But given that sometimes there are only limited amount of cases, particularly like the Fennec Shand wave, very limited quantities. The Velocitron wave or Cosmos was very limited quantities. So they could deliver complete cases to big stores like the Toy Kingdom in Mega Mall or the Toys R Us in Robinson's Galleria, but the smaller Toys R Us, smaller Toy Kingdom stores, from a business standpoint, they're just going to give them whatever stocks are left just to move the product. It's a little unfair, kind of sucks, but that's just the way things are. Oh, there is another hobby shop in Green Hills. It's called, if you've seen videos of me do videos on that sort, it's called Babe's Children's World. She's a long-time reseller of Hasbro products, of P&K's products. She's very close to the owner of P&K. That's why she can command stocks. She can get a lot of stocks without getting the entire case. She can order from P&K, like, just give me a bunch of these figures, give me a bunch of these figures, give me a bunch of those figures. I don't want the entire wave, just give me those singles. And P&K, because of her long-standing business relationship with Babes, they normally give in and they say, okay, we'll give you this, and everything's on consignment on Babes. Babes, the reason I'm okay with it is Babes is like a Toy Kingdom or Toys R Us store. They're legit. They have their business papers, they pay their taxes and all that. What's really annoying is these unscrupulous Facebook resellers that, just because they're friends with some of the people at P&K, they get their way and they get these figures, and they don't pay taxes, they don't have business documents, they don't have nothing. They just sell them on Facebook, and it sucks because P&K is left with missing case assortments that are missing figures, and that's what they give the poor small Toys R Us and Toy Kingdom stores. Okay, I don't want to dabble too much on that. It's the politics of the toy industry here in Manila. I mean, I can't believe it. Even in the toy industry, there's a lot of politics involved, which kind of sucks, but that is the way of the world. You just have to roll with it, okay? And again, not trying to put shade on anybody here, just saying how things are done. And I hope this information will help you in your hunt, in increasing your collection of your action figures and collectibles. With that, I'd like to know what you guys think of this discussion. Let me know in the comment section what you think of how the toy industry works and how Hasbro products, as well as products like Mattel, and other toys and other collectibles are sold here in Manila. Let me know in the comment section, and as always, hit that notification bell so you never miss out on any of my latest video reviews. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the very end of the video. I wanted to take this opportunity to give you guys a little bit of an update. I would like to apologize for the severe lack of content lately. The thing is, my entire household, my family and I, and the entire household have just all succumbed to illness. And my folks, my parents have both tested positive for COVID. The wife has tested positive for COVID. The household staff, they're all suffering symptoms of headaches and symptoms of the flu and cold, having a cold. Danny, my youngest, he's been a couple days having high fever, and he's had cold, flu symptoms. Alex and I, both of us have suffered a bout of food poisoning. She got her first over the weekend. A couple days later, I got an upset stomach, but hers was worse. She was really throwing up, and it was really bad. Mine, I'm pretty used to having a bum stomach. I have a very weak stomach, which is weird since I'm in the food business, but I had a really bad episode of food poisoning as well this past couple of days. I'm recovering. The whole household is slowly recovering. We're just trying to get through this week and the week and a half, and we're hoping by the following week we'll do a bunch of tests and everyone's going to be negative and all that. So I do apologize for the lack of content. Hopefully when things are back to normal here at home, I can get back to normalizing the stream of content for the channel. So, thank you for everyone who supported the channel. If you want to reach out to anything, you send prayers or reach out to the Force, the Allspark, anything you believe in, or if you don't, you just want to wish as well. Thank you for that. Thank you for thinking of me. I do appreciate it. Like I always say, I don't take anything for granted. I do appreciate what you guys do for me and for the channel, and I do appreciate that you guys appreciate the content I put out. So until then, maybe I'm hoping following week I'll be back to 100%, and I'll see you guys then.